So here we are maintaining the aspect ratio so that height and width of the image will remain same, right? If you do not maintain the aspect ratio, then image will not look proper. It will, we can say, the formation of the actual picture will not be proportional. So sometimes you may see some pictures on the net in which a face is very small, but the remaining body is very large. So that is because of the incorrect aspect ratio. Otherwise, normally you will find a proportionate picture of any structure in the image. So here you can see the lowest level is 32 cross 32. It is a very small thumbnail kind of a picture. So let us see how we can do this. And for all these images, as you can see, the number of gray levels are 256. There is no change in the number of gray levels. For all these images, the gray levels in the picture are 256, but we are reducing the spatial resolution. We are reducing the number of pixels in the image. So that is why you can see the impact is like this. So let us see through an algorithm that how you can do this kind of change in the size. So we have a very simple algorithm here. So I am taking a sample image for your understanding purpose. So here we have a 6x6 image. So normally you find this kind of examples in your image. Perform a spatial resolution and reduce the size of the image to its half. So you can see here 6x6 image is there as a sample image, and it is converted into a 3x3. We are reducing n cross n. Here it is both n. So the output image will be n upon 2 cross n upon 2. So to maintain the aspect ratio. So first what we are doing, that we are removing the even number rows from the given image. So you can see the first row is as it is 25, 25, 75, 75, 255 and 255. Then the even number row, it will be deleted. Similarly, the third row will be as it is 0, 0, 255, 255, 0, 0. Again, the fourth row, which is an even number row, it will be deleted. Fifth row will be as it is 255, 255, 75, 75, 75 and 75. So this is the row number 1, row number 3 and row number 5. We can say 1, 3 and 5. That will be kept as it is, and we are deleting the even number rows. That is 2, 4, 6. Once we are doing this, you can see that aspect ratio is not maintained here because we are just deleting the rows from the image. So also we have to delete the columns from the image. So we'll follow the same procedure. We'll delete even number columns. So the first column 25, 0, 255, it will be as it is. We'll delete the column number 2. The column number 3, 75, 255, 75, it will be as it is. We'll delete column number 4. Then we have column number 5 as it is 255, 0, 75, and we'll delete the last column. So this is how you will get a 3x3 image from 6x6. So n cross n image is converted to n upon 2 cross n upon 2 image, and we are able to maintain the aspect ratio. So it is a very simple algorithm to do this. So this is just a code. This is a code which is in the MATLAB form. You might be aware about the image processing softwares nowadays. Programming language we are normally using is either we are using a tool like a MATLAB or Octave. You are, I think, dealing with Octave in your labs. So also in Octave, you can run the .m file. So .m is the extension for MATLAB. So I am deliberately writing this .m file so that you cannot exactly copy it in the lab. So it is just for your understanding purpose. You have to do minor modifications so that you don't have to copy as it is. in the octave. Some syntaxes are different. So basically the first for loop is for, as you can see here, that for I is equal to 1 to 2 up to m. So it is an increment by 2. So we are just skipping the particular column. We are skipping the particular column, as you can see in this loop, 1 to m. So I is 1, then it will be 3. So we are considering the row number 1, then we'll consider row number 3, and column is indicating the all the columns. So basically we are going row by row as we have done. So first row I is 1, then third row, because increment is by 2. So first, third, fifth, that's how you are getting the A1 image. Once we are getting the A1 image, from that A1 image, we have to skip the columns. So you can see again, we have a second for loop in which we have column number 1, then we'll consider column number 3, because increment is again 2. So 1, 3, 5, and we'll get the output image A2. So if you plot this using functions like IMWrite, which is also there in Octave, so you can see first the original image of a sunset, then we are applying the step 1. So this step 1 is the A1 image, as you can see here, and then from that, in which we have removed the even number of rows. We have removed the even number of rows from the image. Then from this new image A1, we are removing the even number of columns, all the columns with even numbers. So you will get the output image, and which will maintain the aspect ratio as well. There's one more example. We have the original image. From that original image, when you apply this image shrinking, or when you go for spatial resolution, you will get this kind of output image. So you can see that in this also we are maintaining the aspect ratio. So there are many ways to do this thing. You can write any algorithm, but mainly you have to remove the even number of columns and even number of rows. That is how you will get the output, and you can reduce the size of the image. So normally when you are clicking on a zoom button in any image processing software, right, and when you reduce the zoom level, basically they are doing this. When you go from 100 to 50%, they are just applying this algorithm to achieve the goal. Yes, do you have any query? Yes, do you have any query? Then you can mention in the chat window. Yes, can we proceed further? Is this simple algorithm clear? Okay, so let us go to the another interesting topic. Now let us focus on the gray level resolution. The previous one was a spatial resolution in which our focus was on reducing the image size in terms of pixels. Now here we want to reduce the image size in terms of number of gray levels. So as you will reduce the number of gray levels, it will definitely affect the image. When you look at the image, it will include some false contours. It will include some false contours in the image. So basically, we'll see also with an example what is a false contour. So gray level resolution refers to the smallest detectable change in the gray level. So it is a detectable change in the gray level. So when you reduce the number of gray levels, definitely it will affect your output. If you consider a reduced gray level image, then the variations of the skin cannot be visible. Similarly, if there are variations in the sky, some clouds are there and other things. So variations in the sky, you cannot see clearly through a reduce level, if you reduce the number of gray levels. So that is known as a gray level resolution. So now here we have this image of a MRI. So in the first, it is a 256 gray level image. So number of gray levels are 256. In the image B, which is a top right image, the top right image, that is image B, it is having a 128 gray levels. It is 128 gray levels. So as you reduce the number of gray levels, it will include the false contours into it, right? So up to some level, you cannot visualize the change. Up to some level of gray, you cannot visualize the change. Then from 64, 128 will go for 64 gray levels, but we are keeping the spatial resolution constant. So image size in terms of pixels, number of rows and columns, they are same. But the number of bits required to represent the individual pixel will be reduced. So overall size will be affected. So it is m cross n cross 2 raised to k, if you recall the previous lecture. It is m cross n cross L. L is the number of gray levels. So L is equal to 2 raised to k, the number of bits required to represent the particular pixel. So here it is m cross n cross 2 raised to k. So in the first one, it is 2 raised to 8 because 256. In the second one, it is m cross n cross 2 raised to 7. In the third image, bottom left image, it is 2 raised to 6. And in bottom right, it is 2 raised to 5. So it is m cross n cross 2 raised to 5. So definitely overall size of the image will reduce on disk. But here you may not see a significant difference between these four images. All these images look identical. So, but if you go for further reduction in the gray levels, here you can clearly see this false contours. So it will look like a tumor in the head. When you go to a 16 gray levels, up to 32 gray levels in this image, you cannot see any minor change, right? You cannot detect that change. But when you go to a 16 gray level, 2 raised to 4 only, 4 bits, you can see a tumor like a thing in the head. So it is a false contour. It is not actually in the original image. But so all these circles, you can see concentric circles in the head of the human, they are false contours. So you can see that when you go to a 16 gray levels, you don't see the smooth areas. You will see a lot of change in the smooth areas. Then from 16 gray levels, when you go to 8 gray levels, a 3-bit image, m cross n cross 2 raised to 3. 8 gray levels, you can see a very big circle in the head, which is further reducing the number of gray levels. Then you will go for 2 raised to 2. So m cross n cross 2 raised to 2. Only 4 bits. You can see this kind of picture where almost details are lost. You cannot see the details at all. So through a gray level resolution, if you reduce, you will lose the details in the image. And at last, we have only 2 bits, 0 and 1. You can see pure black and white image, a pure black and white image. Hardly you can identify that it is a face of a human, head of the human. You cannot see that even clearly. So this is how through a gray level resolution, when you reduce, you are getting a false contours in the image and the details will be lost from one level to another level. And at level, when we have only 2 bits, a level 0, we can say 2 raised to 1, right? 2 raised to 0 means it is only 1. So 1 means only black. But when you go to level 1, 2 raised to 1, you will find only black and white image. So black and white image is possible with one bit, either 0 or 1. So is this clear? What is false contour and how the gray level resolution will affect the image? Spatial resolution for all these images are equal. Spatial resolution for all these images are equal, but gray level resolution is different. So is this clear? What is false contour? Basically, this gray level resolution affect affects quality of the image. At lowest level, it becomes black and white image. So now let us see that how you can achieve through this thing through the algorithm. So we have to go through that algorithm. So now I am again taking a sample image. This sample image is of size 3 cross 3. So to reduce number of gray levels, because when you are reducing the number of gray levels means from 256 gray levels. So range is from 0 to 255. 0 is the black and 255 is the white. So we have total 256 gray levels. From that, we'll achieve a 128 gray levels. So range will be from 0 to 127. So what I am doing here, I am dividing the image by 2. I am dividing the image by 2. So 255 will be converted to 127. That's how you will get the first row. 200 will be converted to 100. 100 will be converted to 50. 150 will be converted to 75. 0 as it is. 50 will be converted to 25. And then 180 is converted to 90. So this is how you will get the image with 128 gray levels. So you can see that there is no number in the image which is more than 127. The highest number is 127. So gray levels are from 0 to 127. Further, if we divide this image, we'll get a gray level image with 64 gray levels. So 127 is converted to 63. 100 will be converted to 50. 50 is converted to 25. 75 is converted to 37. 0 as it is. 25 converted to 12. And 90 is converted to 45. So there is an image with 64 gray levels. It is an image with 64 gray levels. And range is from 0 to 63. Further, if we divide this image by 2, we'll get 31 in the first row, then 25, 12, 18 in the second row. In the third row, you will get 0, 6, and 22. So this is an image with 32 gray levels. This is an image with 32 gray levels. Further, if we consider, then we'll convert this image from 32 gray levels to 16 gray levels. That is how you will get a 16 gray levels in the image from 0 to 15. Then we'll convert into 8 gray levels with 3 bits only. Then we'll convert into 4 gray levels. And finally, we'll convert into 2 gray levels, 0 and 1. That is a pure black and white image. So just by dividing this number by 2, we'll get this thing. So here you can see some of the images. So we are decreasing the gray level resolution. 256 grayscale image is in the first one. Then the second one is 128. Then in the bottom left, it is 64-bit, 64 gray level image, which is 5-bit. And then we have, which is a 6-bit image. And then we have a 32 gray level image, which is a 5-bit image. So up to this, you cannot find so much detail difference between the original image and this image, because the details you cannot visualize with your eye unless you zoom it to a very high level. So when you zoom it, so basically when you go for a higher level of spatial resolution, you will get this thing. So here you can see that at 16 gray level, that is 4-bit image, you can see the false contours. So you can see the false contours over here. Then at last, with k equal to 1, you can see a black and white image. You can see a black and white image. And further, if you further reduce, then we have only one gray level, which is pure black, 2 raised to 0. If you consider 2 raised to 0, so 2 raised to 0 will be 1. So m cross n cross 1. So we have only one gray level, and that is pure black, where you cannot see anything. So it is 1-bit, then you can see a 2-bit image, that is black and white with 1-bit, either 0 or 1. Then you can see a 2-bit image with 4 gray levels. Then you can see a 3-bit image with 8 gray levels. So this is how you can see a different gray level resolution of the given image. So here I have not considered all the images, but I think it is sufficient to show that how we are getting the output. So if you write a simple code, it is very simple. So these all codes are not your Octave codes. I am not writing in Octave so that you cannot copy exactly, right? But at least you will get some feeling how it can be done. So here we are reading the image. Once we are reading the image, we are dividing it with 2 raised to k. You can see we have the image A1, which I am dividing with 2 raised to k. So 2 raised to k is 7. So 2 raised to 7. So I am dividing the image with 128. Right? We'll start with k equal to 1. First, we'll start with k equal to 1. So when k is 1, we'll divide the image by 2. So we'll get the 128 gray level image. We have 128 gray level image because k is 1. And we'll display that image. Now, what we'll do is, again, we'll go in the loop and we'll divide the image with 2 raised to 2. So instead of dividing this new image by 2, I am dividing the original image with 2 raised to 2. You can see my original image is in A1. So basically, I am dividing the original image with 2 raised to k. So k is 1, it is divided by 2. Then original image is divided by further. So that's how you will get the output. Because you can see there is a statement A1 equal to double A in the loop. There is a statement A1 equal to double A in the loop. So that is what we are initializing the original image again to A1. So don't confuse here. Always I am taking the original image as A1. And I am dividing that A1 image with 2 raised to 1. Then I am dividing it with 2 raised to 2. So I am dividing directly with 4. then I am dividing with 8. That's how we'll perform the operation. So every time I am dividing the origin image by some number, 2, 4, 8, 16, like that. I hope this MATLAB code is giving you a feel that how actually we can achieve the goal. Is this clear? Can you generate this kind of output in Octave? Yes, can you generate this kind of output in the Octave based on this logic? So I am just telling you the algorithm, its implementation, and the output so that you can perform well in the lab regarding this practicals. Yes, is this clear? So I got the response from only one student. What about others? We have more than 50 students here. Overall strength is not very good because 51 is just the 1/3 of the strength. It is 1/3 of the total strength. So what is the reason why others are not attending? There is no compulsory attendance. That's why. What is the reason why others are not attending? Only 51 is the strength. Which includes me as well. So why others are not attending? It's a strange thing. There is no compulsory attendance. So you don't find lectures interesting. Is it so? Do you really feel that by attending a lecture, we can prepare it fast? It will reduce our preparation time. Do you feel that if you attend the lectures, it will reduce your preparation time? Okay, so let us proceed further. So far what we have done, we have gone through spatial resolution, we have reduced the image, and we have gone through a gray level resolution. We have reduced the number of gray levels in the image. Okay, so now the important thing is, suppose you want to zoom the image. It's a different thing now. We want to increase the size. Decreasing the size of the image is very easy because just you have to cut the rows and columns. Now here we want to zoom the image. As we want to zoom the image, what we have to do is we have to add the more detail because actually it is not present in the image. When you take an image and you want to zoom it, so the details are not available with you and you want to add the details into an image. So how you can do? So we have to basically create a new pixel locations and we have to assign a gray level to those locations. This is what we have to do because we don't have the detail for the new locations and we don't know which value we should assign so that our image will look as it is and it looks better by increasing the spatial resolution. So basically through image zooming, we are increasing the spatial resolution, right? So there are various methods to achieve the image zooming. The first one, very straightforward, a pixel replication. And the second method, a nearest neighbor interpolation method. The third one is very complex. It has lot of calculations that is known as a bilinear interpolation. So we'll see all these three methods in detail. So let us go through the first method, pixel replication. So it is very easy. We just replicate the pixels. So here you can see we have the original image as 3x3 to a 3x6. So we are replicating the columns first. we are replicating the columns first. So first column is replicated as a second column in the new image. The second column in the original image is replicated as a fourth column in the new image. Similarly, a third column in the original image is replicated as sixth column in the output image. So that is how we'll get a 3x6 image. But here we are not maintaining the aspect ratio. So to maintain an aspect ratio, we have to replicate the rows as well. So first row is replicated as a second row. So we'll get first and second row same. Similarly, the second row is replicated as a fourth row. So third and fourth row will be same. Now third row of the original image, that is obtained in the previous step. So third row of the image, which is replicated as a sixth row in the output image. So that is how you will get a 3x3 image, which is converted to a 6x6 image. And you can see that we are maintaining the aspect ratio as well. So it is a very simple method. So now let us assume that if you replicate this 6x6 image to a next level, so what is the size of that image? So if you replicate this 6x6 image one more time, what will the size of that image? Yes, can you write down in the chat window? Yes, so it is 12x12. So now if you do a replication in this way, what will be the impact on the image? If you do this kind of replication on an image, what will the impact? Let us consider that you were given an image like this, a 3x3, and you will convert this image into 48x48. You are doing a replication several times. So 3x3 will become 6x6. Then 6x6 will become 12x12. This will become 24x24. This will become 48x48. So what will the impact on the image? Will it look same as the original one? Will it be as good as the original one? What do you feel? Just you think that you have a 3x3 small thumbnail image and you will zoom it again and again and again and again to a next level. Will it be as good as the original one if we use this method, pixel replication? No, right? So because of that, let us see that what will happen if you do in this way. So here it is a very good example. So let us go through the last image, bottom last. Let us go through a bottom last image. So this bottom last image originally is 32x32. It is a 32x32, and from that it is converted to 1024x1024. Are you getting it? It is the second row last column. I am talking about the second row last column, bottom row last image. So it is originally a 32x32 image of a flower, and which is zoomed to 1024x1024 pixel. So hardly you can even imagine that it is a flower and it is a rose. You cannot imagine that, because you are doing a zooming to so many levels that it will lose the details of the image. The previous one is a 64 cross 64 image. Second row, middle element. Now I am talking about a second row, middle element, or bottom row, middle element. So originally it is a 64 cross 64 image, which is converted into 1024 cross 1024. Still you cannot see a clear detail. Now the previous one, the bottom row first image. The bottom row first image. It is 128 cross 128. It is 128 cross 128. So you can see that still it is, when it is converted to 1024 cross 1024, still the petals of the rose are not so much clear. You can find the jerks in the petal. You find the uneven boundary. You don't find a smooth boundary of the petal. Now let us talk about the first row or top row last image. The top row last image. So it is obtained from 256 cross 256. Original image is of size 256 cross 256 and it is converted to 1024 cross 1024. So still you find it is not as good as the original one. Still you can see the minor difference, but still it is acceptable. Now top row, middle element. The top row, middle element, it is 512 cross 512 image. So just we are doing pixel replication one time because it is already 512 cross 512. So when you apply a replication only once, you are getting 1024 cross 1024. So you don't find that much change. You find almost equal image. So if you apply a pixel replication one times or two times, still you will get a clear picture. But if you will apply a pixel replications more than two times or several times, you will lose the detail which are in the original image. So this pixel replication method of zooming is not very good method. Is not a good method. So original image we are applying a pixel replication one time only. We are getting this output image. One more example, let us go through. Here we have the original image. So this original image is, if I superimpose here, so you can see it is applied four times. We have applied pixel replication twice, not once. So once you double it, it becomes double, and then so this is how we are doing this. We are applying this pixel replication here. So when you double it, it will increase the number of rows, columns, and when you further apply on the rows, you will get this kind of output image. So we have applied this pixel replication on rows and columns. So I applied this pixel replication on rows and columns. So if you apply it once, it is acceptable, or twice at most, but beyond that, it will lose the detail. It will lose the detail if you use this pixel replication method. So we want a better algorithm so that we'll get a clear picture. Because normally when you use any image processing software nowadays, and if you zoom your image, you don't find this kind of problem. When you zoom your image to 400%, you don't find that much problem in the picture. So we want a better algorithm so that we have a better picture. So the next one is a nearest neighbor interpolation. We have a nearest neighbor interpolation. So basically you can see that in this nearest neighbor interpolation, originally we have 3 points. We have 3 values, 1, 2, and 3. You can see the 3 columns, and we have 3 rows, right? The position 1, 1 is given, then 1, 2, first row, second column, 1, 3, first row, third column. Similarly, position 2, 1. The second row, first column, second row, second column, position 2, 2, position 2, 3, second row, third column. And similarly, you can think about the last row. So basically, we have 3 elements in the first row. Now I want to convert the 3 elements into 3 elements to 6 elements. So basically, what we are doing, that we have this 3 values. So we'll divide this 3 with 6. So basically, what we are doing, it is a one kind of getting more points between the 3. We have a 3 centimeter line, right? It is just like that. We have a 3 centimeter line. And now instead of that 3 centimeter, I want 6 points. So what I will do? The first point will be at 1. The second point will be at around 1.5. Then we have 0.2. Then we have 2.5, something like this. Then we have a 3. That's how we will get the points. 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, and 3. If you consider in that way, you have total 5 points. Is it clear? If you go like this, 1, then it is 1.5. Just let us note down in the chat window 1. The next will be 1.5. Then it is 2. Then 2.5. And then we have 3. You can see we have only 5 points. Basically, what we want to do, we want to generate 6 points. So we want to generate a 6 points. So that's why when you perform a linear spacing, it is known as a simple linear spacing. So you will get the points like 1, then 1.4, 1.8, 2.2, 2.6, and 3. Right? This is just for clarity. 1, 1.4, 1.8, 2.2, 2.6, and 3. So here you can see that I have plotted this grid in the form of your x and y coordinate. So you can see that x axis is there given and y axis is given. So it is from 1 to 3. So it is in the fourth quadrant, you can see. So don't confuse. It is in the fourth quadrant of the plane, right? That's why it is like this. So when we have these 6 points, just we have done a linear spacing between these points to get the 6 points. So now once you are getting this for every row, similarly we'll consider the second row. It is similar to that because second row, first column, second column, and third column. So that's why we have 1.4 and 1.4. Similarly 1.8 and 1.4, because what we'll do, first we'll consider the first row, then we'll consider the first column, so things will be clear. The first column will be 1, then 1.4, then 1 and 1.8, 1 and 2.2, 1 and 2.6, 1 and 3.0. So once you get the first row and first column, it is very easy to put the other points. Is it clear? It is very easy to put the other points. So that is how from 3 cross 3, from this 3 cross 3, we are getting 6 cross 6. So this is about generating the pixel locations. This is about generating the pixel locations. Now we want to assign the gray level value. We want to assign the gray level value to this locations. So can anyone suggest what we'll do? So can anyone suggest what we'll do? So to which values we'll assign to these new points? That is the main point, right? We want to assign the new gray level value to this new pixel locations. So what I will do, I will use a round function. I will use a round function. We'll use a round function. So if it is a point like 1 comma 1.4, so this will round to 1 comma 1 because it is 1.4, so it is lesser than 1.5. Similarly, it is 1 comma 1.8, the next point. So this will round to 1 comma 2. Similarly, we have point 1 comma 2.2. This will round to 1 comma 2. 1 comma 2.8. This will round to 1 comma 3. Is this clear? How we are doing this? So basically what it tells that whatever the gray level value at position 1 comma 1 is there, same should be repeated at 1 comma 1.4. Whatever the gray value we have at 1 comma 2, same will be considered for 1 comma 1.8. Similarly, whatever the gray level we have at position 1 comma 2, it will be considered for 1 comma 2.2 point. And last 1 comma 3 will be repeated or replicated to 1 comma 2.8. So that is how through this nearest neighbor approach we can get the values of the point. We'll get the values of these new pixel locations. Yes, is this point clear? Any query in this? Yes, is this clear? Okay, so now let us see that how we'll generate the output image. So you can see 1.4, it is converted to 1. So the first two are 25. 1.8 comma 1, it is converted to 2 comma 1. So 2 comma 1 will be your 75. Similarly, 2.2, it will be converted to again 2. So 2 comma 1, 75. 2.6 comma 1. So again it is considered as 3 comma 1. That is how you will get the value. Again, this image is in the fourth quadrant. So don't confuse. It is like this. This is your y-axis. So through this nearest neighbor interpolation method, you will get all the values. You will get all the values of the point. So it is not necessary that always you will get the values which is similar to a pixel replication, because it is based on the nearest neighbor. It is based on the nearest neighbor. So 1.4 is a very close to 1. So that's why we are considering the value like that. So I hope things are clear. Any query in this method? So same thing can be achieved in the MATLAB. And also we have similar kind of functions in the Octave. So as you can see here, so it is a MATLAB code. We have the image of house. We are using a linear spacing. So X and Y is the linear spacing of the original image. It is the linear spacing of the original image. It is based on the size of the image. 64 cross 64 image is there. So original image is of 64 cross 64. Then the output image is from this 1 to 64. We want to convert into 1 to 128. So 64 cross 64 image is converted to 128 cross 128. And there is a function known as interpolation 2. It is a function in the MATLAB interpolation tool with a keyword nearest. So XY is the original grid, XX and YY is the mesh grid which is generated, and we have the function interpolation tool with the keyword nearest. So when you apply this method, right, this is just for your knowledge. You don't have to remember this MATLAB code. As you are implementing this practical in a Octave, you don't have to remember this MATLAB code. Just you have to understand the basic method. Just you should understand this algorithm. If this algorithm is known to you, you can do this thing, right? So this is how you will get the output image, which is a far better picture as compared to a pixel replication, method. So far what we have done, we have focused on two methods of image zooming. The first one, which is a pixel replication, and the second one, that is a nearest neighbor interpolation. So the third method, which is having a lot of calculations, which is giving a far better picture as compared to this two, and that is known as a bilinear interpolation. It needs half an hour to understand the third method, bilinear interpolation. So that's why we will not cover this third method in this today's session, and we'll cover this third method in the next lecture. So thank you all. I am ending this presentation right now.